Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a magnetic excursion update Monday, December 16th, around 9 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. Hazardous tsunami waves are possible after a magnitude 7.4 earthquake, now downgraded to 7.3, struck off Vanuatu. The tsunami threat is real for adjacent communities as well as islands in the region. Tsunami waves reaching 0.3 to 1 meters above tide level are possible for some coasts, and hazardous tsunami waves have already been observed. So we're keeping a close eye on this. Keep calm. It's boom time. Horrendous news coming out today. A teacher and multiple students were struck, and a teacher and student were killed during another mass shooting at a Christian school in Madison, Wisconsin. What is going on? Well, I'll tell you what. Gun control is not the issue. The problem that we don't have mental institutions anymore is the real risk. Let's make mental asylums great again. Winter weather warnings in 16 states as 20 inches of snow to hit. To hit the Cascades. Oregon winter storm warning, up to 20 inches of snow forecast for the Cascade passes. A winter storm warning for snow accumulations up to 20 inches is forecast for Oregon's high Cascade Mountains into Tuesday, which will be their lose day. The warning kicks off at 8 p.m. Sunday and remains in place until 10 a.m. tomorrow. Travel could be very difficult to impossible, according to the National Weather Service. And at least one dead as a major ice storm strikes Iowa and eastern Nebraska. Here are the snowfall totals over the last 24 hours. Some light snow in the west, higher elevation snow picking up a few more inches, 6 to 8, as well as in the northeast. These numbers will increase. Here is the last 48 hours. You can see the west is the best, and we've got huge snowpack in the northern rocks. But these numbers in the northeast will increase on tomorrow's update as much more snow has fallen today. Hey, and here is the snowfall forecast through the new year. Holy macaroni. It's looking like a banner ski season for the west and northern Mich. Let's walk it through for you. Here is Tuesday into Wednesday morning. Most of the snow will be falling in the west, including a system that's moving through the Central Plains. Wednesday through Thursday brings snow to the northeast and more snow to the west and Canada. Here is your December 20th through the 21st. More snow for the northern tier, 22nd, Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day. Hey, the west is looking like the best chance for a white Christmas. If you live in the mountainous regions of the Rockies, you're all but assured and guaranteed for Santa to have some snow to land on. And here is the full forecast. An atmospheric river for the Northwest and Northern Rockies, brisk and snow showers for the Great Lakes and New England. An active pattern across the country with an atmospheric river event across the Northwest into the Northern Rockies and a cold front through the east. For the west, accumulating snow and strong winds for the higher elevations are expected through Tuesday. Meanwhile, a cold front moves across the east with gusty winds and snow showers across the Great Lakes and New England. That region is now isolated through much of Maine and New Hampshire there, and it will be coming to a close by morning. The west, we've got winter storm watches and warnings up in some small regions, a few counties here with flood advisories. So click on your county for more info. Thousands feared dead after cyclone slams into India's archipelago of Mayotte. We reported on this last night and showed some video, but the death toll has risen. France's interior minister said it could take days and days to establish an exact death toll, but thousands are feared dead on Monday after Cyclone Chido tore through Mayotte, a French Indian Ocean territory, cutting off swaths of the population. Wooden beams from collapsed buildings littered the landscape, entangled with fallen branches, corrugated metal, and plastic. In a video recording on the archipelago, which is around 500 miles off the southeast coast of Africa, between Madagascar and Mozambique, where most of the vanilla comes from. And here we can see from this flyby the absolute devastation at Mayotte. These are debris fields. Where there were once small shanties and homes, there is now debris littered everywhere. But the good news is if the chickens can survive, so can the humans, as long as they got out of harm's way. There is going to be a huge period of rebuilding here in Mayotte. And the French Interior Minister said it is proving difficult to get a precise tally of the dead. It will take days or weeks until we know the true numbers, but our hearts, thoughts, and prayers go out to a population of just over 300,000 spread over two main regions. And the cleanup has begun on the archipelago of Mayotte. Now to the big story, hazardous tsunami waves possible after a Vanuatu quake. Yeah, the earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 7.4, now downgraded to 7.3, struck the Vanuatu Islands. The quake was at a depth of just 10 kilometers, which is considered a surface quake, where most quakes actually occur. Here are the current stats on the quake. Let's click it and let's refresh it. And let's check up on the updated tsunami information. Earlier, when the quake occurred about an hour ago, there were tsunami warnings and watches and a threat. The threat is still up. Let's look at the most recent selective resource. Let's see what they have to say. This is the tsunami message number 2 for the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center out of Honolulu. This message is information in support of the, where is this region? Okay. An earthquake with a preliminary set, blah, blah, blah. So tsunami waves still reaching 0.3 to 1 meters above the tide level are possible for some coasts off of Vanuatu. Tsunami waves are forecast to be less than 0.3 meters above the tide level for the coasts of Fiji, the Kermadec Islands, Kiribati, New Caledonia, Papua New Guinea, the Solomon Islands, Tuvalu, and Wallis and Futuna. Actual amplitudes of the coast may vary from forecast amplitudes due to uncertainties in the forecast and local features. In particular, maximum tsunami amplitudes in atolls and at the locations with fringing or barrier reefs will likely be much smaller than those forecast indicates. For other areas covered by this product, a forecast has not yet been computed. So we're looking at small tsunami waves between 1 to 3 feet, and that's good news. This wasn't a particularly large earthquake, but one in the realm of tsunami possibility. This just occurred, so we're going to have to wait and see if there is any tsunami impact in the local region of Vanuatu. That seems to be the only threat. Could be a threat to the Hawaiian Islands. Could be a threat to the coast of Australia and many other regions out here in Micronesia and Indonesia. So we'll see how this develops. But a 7.4 magnitude downgraded to 7.3 in Vanuatu has kicked off tsunami warnings and threats. Worldwide volcano news. The first on the list is a new name. Raung hasn't been around for months. Raung puffing and passing to 13,000 foot today. Fuego to 16,000. Santa Guito, 13,000 foot puff there. Semadu, who knew, now you do 15,000 foot blast today. Popo to 21,000 foot. White Island is the big news of the day. We were reporting on some phreomagmatic activity here, but the ash has increased. And due to the intermittent ash emissions, the aviation color code has been raised to orange because this ash can shut down engines and kill people. Can Leon puffing and passing today, 9,000 foot. Reventador, 15,000 foot blast. Santa Guito to 14. Ibu puffing as well. Fuego to 15,000 foot. Popo to 21,000. Fuego to 15. Can Leon to 9. Is this wrapping up the list? Santa Guito to 13.5. Popo to 25,000. Good blast there to wrap up worldwide volcano news for the day. Hey, hey. A quick look over at space weather shows a declining activity over the last 36 hours down into Nowhereville. 3-day geomagnetic forecast is all quiet as we approach Christmas. A quick look at telemetry shows nothing much going on. The BZ has shifted. Take a look at that all the way south, which means the aurora is lighting up for Canada. So there could be some good aurora for Canada. And we are just at high KP3, approaching KP4 due to that shift in the BZ. And in fact, there is a high latitude aurora watch. An enhanced solar wind stream is contributing to active geomagnetic conditions KP4 at higher latitudes. Although the solar wind speed is just below 400 kilometers per second, plasma density is elevated and the BZ component of the interplanetary magnetic field is currently pointing south, like we just showed you. So it's boom time for a while for those in northern Canada. Is it clouds or shipping or maybe Hunga Tonga? Scientists present potential reasons for the record heat in the last 2 years. But the only problem is they don't have any idea what's going on. Climate researchers share theories behind the apparent surge, though none have a full understanding yet of what has happened. And not a single one of them talk about you or CO2. The fact is that it's the sun, Hunga Tonga, the reduction of shipping tracks, and all the things they're looking at. Climate is a very complex system, and the fact that for decades, everyone has been duped into thinking CO2 is the climate control knob is the entire problem. The good news is the incoming administration knows it's gobbledygook, and maybe will be able to put a damper on their plans. As Trump asks Biden to stop selling off parts of his border wall in plain sight. If you haven't heard the news, the current administration, which certainly has nothing to do with Joe Biden because he's incompetent and probably gurgling, sucking a pacifier on a beach in Delaware, but I do digress. But the border wall that Donald Trump was building and went into free fall as Biden won the election, the official, whoever is running the government currently, is selling off the border wall before Donald Trump gets in office on the 20th. And this is just to hamper the security of the United States. Isn't that treason? I think we may be looking into this. Another thing you should be looking into is Zeitgeist. We put up the first part on Rumble last night on Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Well, actually yesterday. Today we put up the second part, Zeitgeist Addendum, which is supposedly the best part in the series. So please go check that out. Already several hundred people watching it, 5 thumbs ups. Tell us what you think and become a member over at Oppenheimer Ranch Project on Rumble. It's free to follow, and you can donate as much as you want to support the channel. And before we go,
I just want to add a few comments on the reports of drone activity here on the East Coast, particularly in and around New Jersey. We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat, or have.
Well, that's pretty conclusive, and that's a boom to knowledge. Please share the video. The powers that be don't want this information to get out. Hit the thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. We need your support so that we can grow. And most importantly, be safe. We love you. The San Luis Valley Seed Exchange fast approaches. So make your plans to get out to the San Luis Valley early April of 2025, and have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.